It's been a while since I've done a video like this. I believe this was the last time I did it. I didn't have this camera, this mic, none of it. I had like nothing. Also, I do have kind of a channel update as the opener. So if you want to go ahead and skip straight to the rating, this is when it starts. So feel free to skip here. Other than that, just stay and listen to what I have to say about the channel. A few weeks ago, we hit 300 subs, which is amazing. And now we're at 307, so like 7 in a week, and that's amazing too. And I just started thinking about the fact of copyright and monetization, which is a big deal, but it's hard to get monetized when you have a channel like mine that not only reacts, but sometimes uses footage of, you know, me reacting to footage. And the crappy thing about me reacting to footage is that it's copyrighted. So, you know, you'd use 10 seconds of it, they'll copyright it immediately, which has happened to me on many videos. I can show you a photo. Here's one. Literally, I got tons of copyrights, and on some of them I will tell you I deserve a copyright on it. You know, like, I fully admit, yeah, it uses a ton of stuff from other people. But, like, for example, my Andy Mineo 2 review. 10 seconds of the You Can't Stop Me music video. 10 seconds. Not even the full thing. They're copywriting it. Which means once I hit that amount of subscribers, all those views from that video, I get no money. None. Which is, to me, that's completely ridiculous. So you know what? I'm not even going to give them a chance anymore. You're going to see more and more and more and more and more original stuff. Yeah, sometimes I'll have to do stuff that'll get copyrighted, but on those videos, I won't care. Those are purely passion projects. My lights just got really dim. Sorry. I'll try to get my face on camera more, or if I'm using footage or whatnot, it'll not be copyrighted. I'll make sure it's like infringement free, because apparently the free use is all bull. They don't believe in a word of that, because I've been, you know, they give you the chance to, quote, dispute it. First of all, that takes forever, right? They say 30 days, they'll look at it. They don't even look at it. I'm telling you, they don't look at it, because every single time I've disputed something, I've been said it's still theirs. It's like, and they say, write your reasoning. And I'm like, I use 10 seconds of chopped footage that I chopped myself. I'm reacting to something. Are you kidding me? But you know what? I'm going to get in on like a 30-minute tangent, and I don't want to do that. So just stuff is going to change on this channel. Okay, on to the video. So, like I said in the intro, the last time I did a video like this where I ranked an artist and all of his albums was with Lecrae's albums, and honestly, I still feel like what I ranked his albums as, I would still have that same exact ranking today. And I'm about to do another big artist, which is Andy Mineo. Before I get into it, I want to say EPs. This is an amazing EP. We don't count it here, okay? EPs don't count, just in general. As if it did count, that would probably be top 3, but it doesn't. So let's just get on with it. Coming in at number 9, we got Happy Thoughts. If you have a project like Happy Thoughts at number 9, you've done good for yourself. So here's the thing for Happy Thoughts. It's really a mixed bag, because half of this, they called it an album. It's a lot like an EP because it's really short, but it's officially an album, so it had to get ranked. But it's really a mixed bag because it has, you know, it's bangers and then it's soft. Literally, those are the only 2 categories of this album. You have bangers in Willie, Jackson Pollock, Herman Miller, and then you have your really soft stuff in the Shibuya Roll Call or whatever it was called. I don't know. I don't have the album in front of me. And, you know, Always in a Rush, which, okay, I can admit, lo-fi bop right there. But I don't know. Compared to the rest of Andy's stuff, you've had better. This is going to be a controversial one. I know lots of people won't be happy with this one. Number 8, Heroes for Sale. I hope we had a divine boom there. What normally gets albums is its length. Here's what I mean by that. You might have a really good artist, and I might compare two of his projects. His most popular project might be a long one. I'm not mentioning a specific artist because I don't want to start a war here, but I definitely have one in mind, and his name starts with a K and ends with Lamar. But you might have a really good project. It's just really long. And his shorter project isn't as respected, but because of the number of tracks that I like on the shorter album versus the number of tracks I like on the longer album, I might give the shorter album, it's a stronger placing. Heroes for Sale has a lot of good songs on it. I will give it that. You have Uno Uno Seis and Ayo, Bitter, which is an underrated one from Andy, and obviously the iconic The Saints. But I don't know, it's just for the number of tracks on this album. For all the good ones, there's one that's normally meh, which is why this album goes where it goes. Songs like Shallow, I'm Caught Dreaming, which is if you have For King Country on the track, it better be a good song. And For King Country disappointed me on this song because it was lackluster and kind of annoying. And so I didn't really like that song. And I'm not saying it's just that song's fault alone. There are about 6-7 tracks that I'm not a huge fan of. So yeah, it gets where it gets here. At number 7, we have Formerly Known, which I'm glad it made it to number 7 and not to last place, because I have an infamous habit of putting older albums all the way in the back and newer albums all the way in the front. But not so here and in front of Heroes for Sale, which to me, that was a shock. But that's because Formerly Known is actually a really good album. You listen to it and you realize it's super memorable. You don't forget any part of the album. You have Goodbye with that beat.
Yo, even if it means
it's a really memorable beat. You get that throughout with even choruses like
Formerly Known, way before the moment I was born.
It's just all of the album either gets stuck in your head through the lyrics or through the beat. You got hits like Let There Be Light. It's just a non-stop fun album from beginning to end. It's a solid album, period. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's just solid. Number 6, Work in Progress. This was a toughie. I wanted to put it further back. I honestly wanted to put Formerly Known ahead of this album. The reasoning for me wanting to put it even further back is because of the podcast clips, which I know is the point of this album, but I don't know. If I want to listen to music, I don't want to go through 12, 14 podcast clips to hear 9 songs, 2 of which are okay. But then at the same time, you got bops like I Don't Need You and OTOD and Keeping It Moving, which are all amazing S-Class anti-Mineo songs. Number 5, the first one that I have a CD of, Neverland. I know what you're thinking. Putting the classic Neverland at number 5? What is he doing? Yeah, Neverland's a really good album, and I really enjoy this album. It's short, sweet. The thing that I really love about this album, though, the most, is that the best song on it, You Can't Stop Me, is not the best part of it. That speaks leagues about an album if the best song or the most popular song is not the best part of it. Because on this one, you got Pisano's Violin. It's a funny song. It's entertaining. It keeps you hooked from start to finish, especially with Marty. Shout out Marty. Then you got Paganini that has the epic and legendary canon feature, which I literally just mentioned that on my last video. And KB, oh my goodness, they're so good. Then you have the diversity of genre, which I have mentioned in my Neverland 2 review with Rewind and All We Got. And I mean, then you got You Can't Stop Me on top of all of it, and it's a good album. It's a solidly good album. But the thing is, Andy Mineo has much better music. And I don't know why, but the bar from You Can't Stop Me is coming to mind, where he says, you won't ever write a bar like Kendrick. You ain't ever going to amount to anything. And Andy, you've kind of come into leagues with Kendrick in my book. And I'm not saying that because you're a Christian rapper. You're a great rapper, Andy. Seriously, I know you won't believe me, and some people say you tripping or something, but I'm not. At number 4, we have the greatest, not in CHH, the greatest in all of hip-hop collab album ever made, Magic and Bird. I became a CHH fan in like late 2016, early 2017, and I chose to become a CHH fan in probably the best year for CHH music, because we got this masterpiece. And when I say masterpiece, I mean masterpiece. Magic and Bird is right. They make, Wordsplayed and Andy make the best team. The possible best team. If they decide to come out with a second album, this will be CHH's Watching the Throne, except much, much better. I mean, my goodness, you got bops like Judo on here, Dunk Contest, Say Less, Team, which is criminally underrated because that beat goes so stinking hard on this song. Oh my goodness, I can hear the bass going. Oh, put that joint up in a car. That wasn't sus at all. Run Up the Skull, which is another good one. Even Legend, which is okay. Dance You See It. I mean, this album is a masterpiece. Enjoyable. Even with all the skits in it, it brings me back to other hip-hop albums that use skits. We haven't had good skits in a long time, you know what I mean? Like, Kanye, I believe, has had the best skits ever in his original albums, The College Dropout, Late Registration. But I would go for the coach. I forgot his name. What does Andy call himself? I mean, it's a good, fun, amazing album that should just be in hip-hop legend halls everywhere. At number 3, we got The Sword. It followed up an amazing EP. Like, I'm telling you, when The Arrow came out, I had that thing on repeat. So when he announced that the part 2 was coming out, The Sword, I was like, there's no way this thing can be even close to good as the first one. And while to this day, I kind of think that obviously it can't beat The Arrow, this is a pretty good follow-up. This is that sequel that had all things stacked against it. You didn't think it was going to be good at all. And then you watch and you're like, wow, that was much better than I even could have imagined it would have been. And this was that album. I mean, almost there. Transitions. Voila. Friends. Oh, I had that song on repeat. Oh my.
That's not what friends do. Alright, who are you?
Such a good one. None of my business. I am singing the chorus to this in my car, like, out loud. I'm like,
that's none of my business. What they think about me?
I can do this with every single song on this album, basically. One of Andy Mineo's best songs, period, because of its subject matter and how deep and personal and intimate this song gets. And the fact that we never ever got a part 3 for this album, but we got a spiritual successor in Neverland 2 because of the outro of Shame with the flute, and the intro of Neverland 2 with the flute kind of being started up in reverse. Oh my goodness, man. It's so good, for real. Like, Andy, thank you so much. It's a masterpiece. At number 2, we got Neverland 2. I said pretty much everything there was to be said about Neverland 2 in my review video. Top-notch album. Every single song is listenable. I have had this thing in my CD player so many times because it's a good album. Been about it to bop. I've seen them. I have now had the privilege, hopefully you can see my shirt, it says Woman 6, because I went to the Unashamed tour here. I saw Andy perform it live, and no doubt about it, thanks to J-Dub, shout out J-Dub, he has helped me realize that the best performer is Andy Mineo. And you know what? It's true, because Andy's performance has been in my head all this time, and Andy's performance have been about it was too good. Just Andy's entire thing. He performed the ... Lost from The Arrow. An amazing performer. And I know I'm getting off track, but I mean, the transitions, I Am Falling, even like I said, the weakest point of this album, which was Working on It, is still a bop. Okay. And I've slightly begun to let go of my anger at Andy for featuring Chandler more on it, to have him barely do anything, because it's a good album at every turn. I still do believe that if you had moved around the track list a little more, it would have been a 10 out of 10, but it's pretty close. I think I actually want to change my score from a 9 to a 9.5. Listen, reviewers, and even if you spoke to Anthony Fantano about this, he would probably tell you this, but scores change, okay? They change often. Yet normally, if you're a good reviewer, your score will stay in the vicinity of your original one. So, like, if you gave a project a 3, it should stay in the lower side, but expect changes to come sooner or later. And finally, the best Andy Mineo album. Some of you already know what it is, but 2015's Uncomfortable. This is a good one. You know the words groundbreaking? Yeah. Vendetta, Uncomfortable, which has got to be one of the best intro songs ever. So much of this album is just pure power. Now I Know, Hear My Heart, which are bops, period. The weakest point of this album are songs like Love and Ghost, but they're also good. So, yeah. Plus, the way that this album was written, it's just written well. You know, it's got like the chorus in Vendetta, 'cause Pac did a lot more for me than Barack. Salute. Na 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 na. And then the way just that drum with the snare kicks in. And then you have, oh my goodness, it's just Uptown with the Spanish influence. You have amazing features. While maybe I might listen to Neverland 2 over this, that'll happen very rarely, because this is a good album. When trying to rank the albums, I was this close to putting Neverland 2 at 1. What ended up outing it was Desperados, the interlude David's Roof, Strange Motions. It's a song that technically it should not work, but in the album it does work. And also how you have people like John Bellion and Mac Powell, the lead singer of Third Day, on an album. I know, Third Day and Andy Mineo, that doesn't sound right, but it is right. It happens, and they make magic together. It's a great album. Andy's albums are all great. Would they beat Lecrae's? Possibly. Remember to like, subscribe, comment down below your rankings of Andy Mineo's albums. Tell me exactly what are your favorites. If you agree with this list, if you don't agree with this list, tell me what artist I should do next. Trust me, I'm already thinking of artists to do next. Remember, there's only 2 things I know. I know that Jesus is King, and JT, me, knows best. See you guys next time.